Welcome back to the online sessions on MWT. So in this session, we'll end up this unit with a backward wave oscillator and backward wave amplifier. So let us look into this backward wave oscillator circuit. Now we know what is oscillator. Oscillator is going to generate an AC signal without any external input. AC signal is known as an oscillator basically. Now why we go with this backward wave oscillator when we have two other oscillators such as the klystron tube oscillator and a magnetron oscillator. When we have two oscillators, we are going with another oscillator called a backward wave oscillator. So we are going to this backward wave oscillator because it normally going to generate signal frequencies at terahertz range. That means to generate the signal frequencies at more frequencies than the magnetron, we normally going to prefer this backward wave oscillator circuits. So this backward wave oscillator belongs to the group of the traveling wave tubes that generates oscillations at a microwave ranges. So this can also be called as carcinotrons. So, but usually in the syllabus we have backward wave oscillator only, which is normally belongs to the group of the traveling wave tubes. So both this belong to the same group. Therefore, the principle of operation of the backward wave tube is almost all going to be same as the traveling wave tube. Therefore, the two shows some variation, but small variation is going to be there regarding their constructional structure and operating characteristics. Okay. So we'll just discuss about these basic things of constructional principle, operating principle, construction and working, and advantages, disadvantages of this. So it works on the principle of same as the previous one, like velocity modulation in order to build the oscillations inside the microwave tube. The next one is basically in this tube, the wave travels in the opposite direction with respect to the movement of the electron beam. This is what the different in comparison with the traveling wave tube. So the actual EM wave is normally going to get traveled in a direction opposite to the direction of movement of the electron beam. Therefore, it is known as the backward wave oscillator or a backward wave tube. So this is what the basic principle. Now, how the construction looks like here. We normally going to have a cathode here if you see. So cathode is a negatively charged kind of thing. So cathode is, this is connected to ground. So cathode is normally going to generate the electron beam from the electron. This is the electron gun setup entire thing. Just to see that this is a cathode which generates a bunch of electrons, and this bunch of electrons are going to get reflected back due to the imperfect matching at the collector. So here the collector is normally not going to be matched. So that means these electrons are not simply going to get absorbed by the collector. So they are simply going to get reflected back. And as a result of this reflection, what happens is the EM wave or RF field is normally going to get generated. The EM field is normally going to get generated because of this particular thing. And inside this tube, you're going to have a slow wave structure. So that means once again a helical structure is provided, which is nothing but a slow wave structure. So helical structure is always going to be a slow wave structure. Why? Because the electrons are going to get slowed down in the slow wave structure. So therefore the electron beam is normally going to get transferred to the slow wave structure. After that, we normally going to have this RF field getting generated, and a magnetic field is normally applied 90 degrees to this particular electric field. So this E and B, E electric field is shown by E, magnetic field is shown by E. Plus B means what? The field is entering into this particular place, that means into the page, and it will be coming out of the page. That is how the magnetic field direction that has been shown here. So now if you see this operation now, what is the operation of this? How it generates the terahertz range microwave signals. So we have a cathode which generates the bunch of electrons, and we have a grating structure here. That means this kind of a structure we're going to have, which is known as a grating structure. And we have south pole, north pole. We have north pole and south pole. The field is normally getting generated from north to south. See, the electron bunches are traveling like this, and they are getting reflected back as a EM wave. And EM wave is simply picked up from this particular output terminal. So this is what the basic operation which we can just simply show for the backward wave oscillator. Okay. Now one more thing is going to be like backward wave amplifier circuit. So one thing is oscillator. Oscillator is a circuit which generates output without any input signal. Next one is going to be the amplifier. What is an amplifier? Amplifier is normally going to increase the strength of the input signal. We already know. So here also it has to increase the strength of the input signal. So as it is a backward wave tube, what happens, see here, usually we apply input at the starting point of the circuit element, output we collected at the end. But here it is something different here. Input is applied in the middle, output is also taken at the middle, because the operation is something in a different manner it is working. So here this electron bunch, many electrons are getting produced, a bunch of electrons are getting produced, and the velocity modulation takes place here. And as the electrons are moving in this free space, now there is some uh, uh, arrangement here provided. So what are the arrangements provided here? Something like this red dots is going to be known as electron bunch, which is produced because of the movement of the electrons, because of movement of electrons in the tube. Then on the cover, on the other side of the on the cover side of the entire tube, you're going to have the magnetic circuit. This is going to be the collector, and it is going to be the matched load to absorb the unwanted signals which is reflected back from the collector. The next one you're going to have, this is drift tube electron beam. It is going to be matched load we are going to have, just to see that no bunches are going to get leaked from this. Okay, so input port, output port. So this is called a grating section. So in this, because of this grating section, the electrons are going to have a backward kind of a structure. Some space is left behind. Some space is left behind. In this place now, the electrons are going to get reflected back now. See, the electrons are modulated, velocity modulated here as they are moving in the free space. The amplitude is going to get increased as in the free space. The amplitude is getting increased, and that is simply going to get reflected back. In the case of this particular continuous backward wave amplifier circuit. So this is what the basic amplifier circuit which we have. So this is simply explaining about the operation of this particular backward wave oscillator. It is, the circuit is same as a slow wave structure which is present inside the tube, that is basically responsible for the velocity modulation which takes place. So this is what explanation whatever I just gave you just now. So working of the backward wave oscillator, how it is normally going to work. So same as the traveling wave tube, you normally going to explain. The electron beam is produced by the, just by seeing into this particular diagram we can able to explain. The electron bunch, electron beam is produced by the cathode in the electron gun, and these electrons as they move towards the collector side, many bunches are going to get formed. These bunches are going to result into the RF field, and this RF field is not getting absorbed here, and it is simply going to get reflected back and taken from the output side. So this is how the backward wave oscillator is normally going to operate or a function. So the same thing has been explained here. The electron beam traveling with certain velocity experiences retarded field when the field inside the tube is maximum. So retarding means what? It should take a opposite direction. Okay, that means opposite direction with respect to the electron beam direction. So this can be understood in a way inside a slow wave structure. So that is what same operation has been explained here. Then what are the advantages of this particular backward wave oscillator? It provides a wide range of tunability by the variation in the collector voltage. That means we can get, because it can operate at a terahertz range, it is tunable for a wide variation of the frequencies. It generates oscillations that shows high frequency stability. So it's going to produce a stable output under the appropriate frequency which is going to generate. It holds the ability to produce sharp desired signal at the output. So obviously it's going to produce a sharp desired signal at the output. But there are some small disadvantages. The efficiency of this tube, backward wave tube, is somewhat less than the TWT and the klystron tube. So that means klystron itself is very less, 22.73. So it is going to produce less efficient. So here what you have to understand is meaning of efficiency. Meaning of efficiency is nothing but utilization of the resources to produce the required output is known as efficiency. Okay, that means it uses the resources not so effectively. Therefore, the efficiency is going to be less in the case of the BWT in comparison with TWT and the klystrons. Now, the fixed spacing between helical ring of the slow wave structure leads to the cause of a causing a limiting factor over the bandwidth. So here one more limitation is going to be like we cannot really transmit signals with wide bandwidth signals. Okay, so that is what one other small drawback which we are going to have. But so these are the advantages and disadvantages of this. And last topic which is left over is going to be the crossfield amplifier. We have seen a crossfield magnetron which is used to generate the high frequency oscillations at microwave frequency range. Now one more concept in this is going to be the crossfield amplifiers. So here this is invented in the early 1960s. So it is going to be somewhat advanced version of the micro crossfield kind of a tubes. Okay, so here the operation, the construction is normally going to lie between the TWT and the magnetron. The structure, entire structure looks to be like magnetron, and a slow wave structure is also, slow wave helical structure is incorporated in the interaction space between anode and the cathode. So that is what the basic construction we're going to have in this. See this? So we already know this is a magnetron. This is the entire case is going to be the anode structure. If you can just see this now, this is going to be the anode structure. So first of all, we'll figure out with the basic anode structure. This is going to be the pi mode operation. See this uh, gray figure, just like a wings of a fan. Okay, so this is the pi mode of the operation of the magnetron. So that has been shown it here. Just this is a conceptually the what is that, RF field is normally going to get propagating like this. Okay, so the outer shell is going to be known as anode. The next one is magnetic field. How the magnetic field is applied? It is applied perpendicular to the cross section. This is a cross section perpendicular to this. We normally going to apply the magnetic field. So if you consider this is the plane, what you are seeing here, perpendicular to this plane, that means from your side into the page perpendicularly magnetic field is applied. That is how the magnetic field is applied in the cross wave tube. Then other cases are going to be what now, electric field is always going to move from cathode to the anode. This is anode side, this is cathode side. Electric field lines will moving from cathode to anode, cathode to anode. So in between, what happens now? It is going to experience the RF field. It's going to generate the RF field. So these RF fields are going to get collected by the anode, obviously. So there should be a producer, there should be a consumer. So producer is what? Cathode. Consumer is what? Obviously anode. It's something like, once again, a producer consumer kind of a problem. There should be somebody to produce, there should be somebody to eat. Kind of a producer a consumer kind of a problem here. So that means cathode will produce the DC electrons, and DC electrons, when they experience a force with the magnetic field, they are normally going to rotate with some angle, producing the RF fields, and these RF fields are going to get collected at the anode structure. All right, so this is what the direction of the magnet RF field, which we have already seen in the magnetron basic explanation. So this is what the direction of the electron cloud rotation. So the electron cloud is rotating like this, and direction of the magnetic field, direction of the RF field is also going to be the direction of the electron cloud. So this is what the structure we have, which is going to be the magnetron structure. So inside, between the cathode and anode, there is a hollow space in the magnetron. Now in the case of amplifier, crossfield amplifier, we are going to have a helix in the hollow space between the cathode and the anode, which is known as a slow wave structure, which is same as the slow wave structure used in the TWT tube. Okay, now here we are going to have one section for RF input, another one is going to be for the RF output. So here what happens is the electron beam, the number of bunches formed in the electron beam are going to increase here, which is normally going to increase the amplitude or strength of the signal here. So operation is quite simple. You have to simply merge the operations of magnetron and the TWT tube. So here we are giving enough space for the electrons to merge in the traveling wave tube. So thereby it is normally going to generate signals with maximum amplitude. That means we give a what is an amplifier? The amplitude level of the RF input is going to be small. The same signal is being once again collected at the collector with a more RF output. So that is what we normally going to have. So which is nothing but a simplified cross section of the continuous cathode forward wave cross field amplifier circuit, which is normally used to amplify the input signal. So next is where we practically, how we normally going to use this. Practically we use this particular construction to generate the signal with a high power. So high power of around 400 megahertz for continuous wave propagations, and 10 megawatts 400 kilowatts for continuous wave propagations in S band. And we normally going to have 10 megawatts of power at 10 gigahertz it is going to produce. Okay, so that means here basically the pulse, it is normally used for, what are the applications of this? It is used for pulsed crossfield amplifiers in the range of 1 to 50 gigahertz normally used. So this is what the operating frequencies and the maximum power radiated from the output of the amplifier. Okay, so these are all some of the things which we have here. So say same operation of backward wave oscillator operation is been explained over here. And practical concerns, backward wave oscillator is normally used to generate signal frequencies of over up to 1000 gigahertz, means what, around terahertz range it is going to definitely going to generate. So therefore it is used for high frequency generations at terahertz range. Okay, so this is what regarding the uh, backward wave oscillator circuit basic operation. So here with this we have completed the klystron tube, we have completed the klystron amplifier, we have completed the magnetron oscillator, magnetron amplifier, backward wave oscillator, and backward wave amplifier circuits. Okay, so these are all the basic constructions and operations of various microwave tubes. Now why we go for microwave tubes? Because for the conventional tubes are normally going to have so many losses for the signal set microwave range. So in order to avoid all these losses, we have to go with the microwave tubes. So this is how we normally use the microwave tubes to generate and amplify the signal set microwave frequency ranges. So thank you very much for the today's session. With this, we end up this particular unit of the microwave tubes.